So growing up, it wasn't something that I did. But after our second child was born and I felt like I was just like always angry, I had a friend who had recently started therapy and she had somebody that she recommended. So I tried it out. And I ended up going to that therapist for 4 years till we moved out of the area. And
Yeah, she was really good for you.
she was really good.
And
At
us.
first, it was every week, and then it was every couple weeks, and then it was once a month. But it was super helpful for me because it gave me perspective on things that I really didn't have perspective on. It helped me look at some of my childhood experiences with fresh eyes and not in a blaming space, not in like, this is this person's fault, which is a good therapist won't be like, well, that's their fault and they're to blame for your feelings. A good therapist teaches you to own your responsibility and your feelings and help you integrate or find solutions to find ways to respond. And then when we moved, 6 years ago, I stopped seeing a therapist and I recently started seeing one again.
Mm-hmm.
And by seeing, I mean in Zoom calls, which actually works really well because then I don't have to drive and find parking and take that. Like,
I thought I would hate it.
Yeah. I thought I wouldn't like it, but it's actually nice because it's even more private than being in somebody's office.
Yeah.
And she has been awesome and very, very helpful for me this time around as well, which I started in the summertime. Because I recognized that like I wasn't dealing with the grief from like the sudden loss of my dad very well. And so I was doing things that are outside of my character. And so I knew I needed to adjust the way that I was dealing with it. And having her has been super, super helpful. And then through her, we found our marriage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been together almost 15 years married, and we've been together 18 years. And so it's been helpful. Right. And I think this time there's so many different styles of therapy, but this time we're using IFS, which is internal family systems, and solution-based work. That's been very, very helpful for us too. So there's no shame in our game around the fact that we utilize therapy, that we recognize its efficacy when you find somebody that you are comfortable with, that you trust, that is in a non-judgmental space.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot to be said for being able to talk to somebody that's not in your immediate family, that has no connection to any of that and can give you a reasoned
One is a
response.
Professional, just like we talk about how, what we do for a living, what you do for a living.
Yeah.
And, I had somebody the other day talk to me about training their son, who's about 13 years old. And the guy's an athletic guy, played a lot of sports, brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's like, I know how to lift weights. And he talked about how I was like, he wants to get him into it, and he has a setup at home. He's like, I thought about it, and then I already thought about my relationship with my son. And I was like, you know what? Probably better just to hire a professional.